Hello, my friends, and I hope you're having a fantastic day. I know it's been a while, but I've had problems deciding exactly what I'm going to make videos about since personally, I'm just not very good at maintaining my own mental balance, dealing with constant negativity from various sources. Not viewers, believe it or not. When I dwell too much in bad news, it affects me. I'm a sensitive soul like that, I suppose. But I did finally find something that I think I can put my focus into and will actually make me happy and do one of those things I think that we need to do as a whole, which is talk about things we like. And even while I'm doing this, I'm going to be talking about things I don't like. But at the same time, I hope I can help call attention to new things that people might be interested in and maybe help some smaller developers. That would be really cool if I could help people. And since I am currently not in the financial position where I could buy a game or a couple games every week to play and review, and plus if I was to do that, I'd want to play through the full game. And maybe someday in the future when I have the money, I'll just play 2 hours of a game and give my thoughts on the first 2 hours or something. But I'm going to do game demos. They're free, they're easy to get to, and some people may not have time to play the demos. So if I can provide a little bit of insight, encourage people to maybe go look at a demo they would normally skip, or even just give people the idea they want to buy the game based on it. But the fun thing about game demos is that they are in and of themselves an art, much like a movie trailer is an art. How a trailer or a demo is put together tells you a lot about what the developer thinks about their game. Now, in most, I suppose, cases, the game demo is really just a fraction of the beginning of the game. And the thing that always bothers me about those kinds is specifically you end up replaying the beginning of the game again, unless it's one of the ones that actually transfer in your save, but there aren't nearly enough of those. The ones I prefer are ones that give you, an alternate timeline or a prequel portion of the story, or really just about anything that gives you something else of the story world before you get into it. That way you're not retreading the same ground. I'm someone who doesn't like to go over the same thing over and over again, except I really like to repeat myself, it appears. And then some are just a tech demo where it's really just all about the combat and whatever. But it does give you a good idea about what the game developers are focusing on and what they really want you to notice in terms of their game. Now, any game demo I review, you'll be able to find links to the Steam website down in the comments so that you can either check it out yourself or pick up the game or do whatever in the world you want to do with it. Anyway, on to today's game. I am not a huge manga fan, but I am a huge Junji Ito fan. So when I sat down to decide which one of these was going to be the first game I wanted to do, I was surprised to come across the store page for Junji Ito and Infinite Gaol. Just putting Junji Ito in the title in and of itself was enough to immediately hook my curiosity. Now, it is an extremely short demo. Maybe took me 25 minutes to play through it. Not very long at all, which is good because I do think it's one of those that's probably just the first portion of the game, so I'm not going to have to go and backtrack through a whole lot of it. Now, I could be wrong when the full game releases, but even if it's something cobbled together out of portions of the beginning of the game, I think it really does give you an excellent kind of idea of what's going on. You wake up on a bed as if out of a nightmare and come to realize that the main character, whose name you don't know yet, is confused about where he is and doesn't seem to remember much of anything. As you go through the room, you come to realize you are apparently there investigating this mansion, and you are there with somebody else.
怪奇現象富
どう説
なんだ止まれ思い出した。富と洋館に来て怪奇現象を調べるつもりだったんだ。富はどこだ？ どうして僕だけここに？トミが僕を閉じ込めたのか？もしかしたら僕みたいにどこかに閉じ込められてるのかも。まずはトミを見つけよう。にゃ？
You come out of the room.
動けなくなってるのか？
You find a cat. You let the cat out of the trap, and honestly, looking at that cat, I didn't think it was a particularly great idea myself. But then you move on. The atmospheric building in this demo is actually really excellent. There are times I'm a little more tightly wound, and in those moments, it's not usually a good idea for me to play a scary game because I will do more to freak myself out than absolutely anything else can. I do not do well with anxiety. That the type of scare that is about making me anxious does not do a lot for me. It really just makes me worse. The more anxious I am, the worse things are. But this does build that kind of tense atmosphere where you're wondering what's going to happen. You're expecting at any second something's going to jump out around the corner at you, and then it doesn't. Then it still doesn't. And then it continues not to. But you know you can't get comfortable because you know something's going to happen. Now, in the first few minutes of the game, after you leave the attic, past the scary head on the wall, you then enter a room where a man's head falls off and he decides he wants your head.
トミー、お前なのか？お前も脱出したのか？まさかトミじゃない。この洋館の人ですか？僕は探検しに来ただけで悪気はないんです。友達を探してるだけなんです。すぐ出て行きますから。頭。あ、落ちた。頭も。こっちに来るな
！This is where they demonstrate one of the mechanics that kind of actually makes me excited for the game, and that is the hiding mechanic. So you hide in a closet, the creature rounds the corner, and then you have to decide when it's safe to come out. Now, the part I found the most difficult is that when you step out, the first thing it does is it pops up the tutorial on the screen about how to use the nifty little trap you freed the cat from. And if you do not hold the button down long enough, it does not set the trap, at which point you are dead. Now, the other frustrating thing is if you aren't careful, you will also end up attracting the mannequin body much faster than you can set that trap, at which point you try to hide back in the closet. And again, this is what I really like, is this isn't one of those games where you get in the closet and it forgets you're there. No, it walks up, it opens the closet, and you're screwed. It'll choke you out right there on the spot. Which is pretty cool. Now, there are some environmental stuff it explains, environmental traps that you can use that are limited in use, but you never really get the chance over the course of the demo to really use them. I do think that when you would get further into the game and have the opportunity to do it, you could probably set up some really interesting stuff. Now, they do tease a number of puzzles within the game, but you don't actually get to experiment with any of them. You just get the look at them. Now, maybe I missed where you could actually do more solving, but it feels to me like the things that you would do to solve most of them exist beyond the end of this demo. And that really disappointed me a little. I would have liked a little bit of a taste at the puzzle solving. I feel like it's probably going to be a shorter game. And this is definitely the type of game that I would like to play on stream, partly because playing it on stream gives me a buffer of some kind. Being able to watch the chat keeps me from freaking myself out more than I should, because I'm funny like that. But as I said, overall, what this demo tells me is that the developers really wanted to play up that sense of helplessness provide ways that you can help yourself, but at the same time kind of show that this isn't going to be a run and gun game. This is definitely a plot your way around carefully game. Use your environment, and occasionally you're going to feel utterly helpless, which definitely helps build that big sense of drama for you in the game. And I do think that it should be really interesting. So if you are interested in Junji Ito, if you're interested in horror games that are more puzzle focused, that leave you feeling helpless without the ability to really fight, then this is going to be a game for you. If you're someone who prefers the ability to shoot at things, to defend yourself, then it's probably not going to work so much. But all that said, this game comes out November 11th. That should be the day after this video comes out, hopefully, assuming I don't screw up. Basically tomorrow, Tuesday. I do recommend playing the demo if you want to see if it's the kind of thing you're interested in, or just pick up the game when it comes out. I may do so if I have the extra cash, just because I think it looks fun. All that said, guys, I am looking forward to the next demo. If you happen to have something out there that you would like me to play through, leave it down in the comments. Leave your thoughts about this down in the comments. But I will catch you guys next time. Take care. Thank you so much for watching this video. I really hope you enjoyed it. Please like, comment, subscribe, and turn on the notifications. If you really liked it, you can feel free to share it around, and I will catch you later.